All right. I got everybody so far, and as people get on here, we will get them promoted. But we'll get started in a minute. I'm super excited about tonight, guys. I can't believe it's 2018 already. But there's such good things coming. We had I think I was on like 4 different calls today with different parts of the world, and also Orrin did a special call just for the leaders in his outside life coach teams. In other words, his teams that aren't part of his life coach teams, and it was amazing. So get to share a lot of that with you guys tonight and hear from some of the different movers and shakers on the team, and we'll get started in 1 minute. All right, well, let's get started here tonight. Can everybody hear me good? Well, I guess well is the right way to say that. There we go. Good deal. Well, all of you who don't have your video on, the only one who has an excuse right now is Nanette because they're at the hospital, but all the rest of y'all need to have your video on because it's just too exciting not to see your lovely faces. Or not. Okay, so we're going to get started. There we go. Good stuff. Good to get everybody on here. I know some of you guys are still joining. I'm trying to promote everybody as we go, but we're going to get started with the prayer like we normally do, and just excited about everything that we're going to be sharing tonight as a group and as individuals that are moving on and making things happen in life, but also just in general in success as a rule. Sorry, I can't do 2 things at once. Here we go. All right, so let's see. Micah, will you start us off with a prayer tonight, buddy?
I sure will. Awesome. Lord, thank you for this amazing day, Father. Thank you, God, that we're alive today, Lord. Thank you that we have breath in our lungs, Father. May we never forget that, Lord, that alone is a blessing. Father God, I just pray that tonight for just your guidance, Lord, and that our hearts will be open, just as we learn, Father, how to move forward to become the people you've called us to be, Lord, and how to impact the people you called us to impact, Father. I just pray that everyone that will be speaking tonight and sharing, that you're going to give them the words to say, Lord. We just give you all the honor and the glory that comes from this meeting. We pray in your holy and blessed name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Micah. Awesome. Well, good stuff. I know people keep getting on, so I'm trying to get you guys promoted. We're promoting everybody tonight. We're having a good old shebang together. And we got all the way from out in California down to Alabama, up to Montana, Colorado. Man, all over the place. But Maryland, Pennsylvania, we got to say Pennsylvania, of course. And North Carolina, Maryland. Did I say Maryland? Probably did already. Trying to get everybody on here. Good stuff. All right. So tonight I want to start with a couple of you guys because a couple of you have really gone out and started to apply some of what the new competition is. I'm not sure that all of you have heard about it yet. So the bird dog competition that we have going on is pretty exciting. I just got to share it a little bit on the Spanish Prezi call that we had right before this one. And we had over 350 people connected tonight on the Spanish Prezi call, which was really cool all around the world. Just people making a difference where they are, and really excited to move forward with their community and their country as well. But just here, I mean, all of you guys are connected to such an amazing team. I mean, there's some awesome, I'm looking at awesome connectors in this team. Some of you guys are going to be the best bird dogs out there to move into connectorship. And then a whole bunch of you guys are going to work on systematizing your business in a big way. And something I said on the Spanish call that I hope we all understand is if we go out and sign 1,000 people up and next month they're not with us, they're not at the seminar, we literally failed. That is not the point. The point is not to go out and sign a whole bunch of people up. But the point is to get the law of averages working in your favor. And when you go out there and you put, Anthony, we were talking about putting a whole bunch more names in the top of that funnel so that as it comes down through and as we sift through people, it's not, Claude was talking about on a call today. He said, yeah, I had like this depth group and there's like 20 people in it. And between the 20 of them, they were showing like 3 plans a week. And he said, how are we going to have a big funnel and sign up a whole bunch of people and do a squeeze if the plan is too complicated that only 3 people are showing a plan a week? And he said, that's what's so beautiful about this video. I hope you guys have all seen the 7-minute video. If you haven't, you really need to go on and watch it right away. I've been watching it at least once a day just to get it in here, subconsciously get it in my mind of what I'm showing other people and how important it is to know what we know. I'm reading through this book. I know you guys have seen this before, right? Anybody ever see this book before? How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Selling. It's an amazing book. And Flora and I were just talking. I know the ladies on the team are doing the book call with one of the top 5 over the next 5 months. You get to decide which one. Well, I always try to go through the top 5. I heard this from Jackie Lewis a long time ago before she passed away, that she would read through the top 5 every year, at the beginning of every year. And I thought, man, if she as a life coach is doing that, I should probably do that, right? And so I started going through, and Mike, gosh darn it, keeps inspiring me. He's like, yeah, I read 50 books this last year. And I'm like, holy cow. Like, I mean, that's awesome, but I'm the leader. You can't read more books than me, right? And so I've made it a goal for me this year to read 50 books, which it was equivalent to obviously a book a week. And so this book has 6 parts. And so we started on Monday. So I figured I'd do a part a day. And I'm already, look at this. I'm already 3/4 of the way through the book, and I'm like, this is crazy. But one of the things he talks about here is, 1, you got to see the people, and 2, you got to get out there and make the numbers work for you. You got to get out there and just figure out what your rhythm is and get into it and do the job, like Oren said. So anyway, I want to pass it over to Anthony quick first, because Anthony and Monica obviously coming into this year got some really good goals together and said, you know what, we're just going to kick some butt. And they rallied the troops. And I know there's a whole bunch of people on their team that are either connected tonight or out there across the world. Really, you guys got people everywhere, but out there all over the place, just learning how to be the best bird dogs possible. And then obviously you guys have a really great goal. I think I'm going to share it just to keep you accountable. They have a goal to show 500 videos by the end of February. Just one time? No. Oh, I don't know what you said. Here, I'm going to unmute you so I know. What'd you say?
It's only for one team, too. So
that
doesn't count the other team. Yep.
Right. The other team doesn't count. So in one of his non-leader teams yet, right, they're going to show 500 videos by the end of February. And I'll tell you what, guys, it's Oren put out a challenge today. I'm going to share it with all of you. We're doing everybody who does 30 points, which actually I'm not even going to go into that yet. I'm going to let Anthony take this away for a second. And after he's done, I'm going to go through what the competition is in case some of you don't know, and how the points work and how we're going to work that together with all the different leaders on the call. And then what the reward is, because Oren and Chris and Claude are all coming together to give us the biggest reward possible at the major, and also with some other stuff going on. So Anthony, my biggest question for you, man, is going into this year, everybody on here, they're on here because they want to make a difference this year. They want to make this the best year they've ever had. And obviously some people are coming in with momentum. Some people aren't. Some people need to put some irons in the fire. Some people have too many irons in the fire. There's just different things. We're all at different places in life. So the biggest question for you and Momo, if she's there, is how do people get into the right mindset to get rid of all the noise, get rid of all the complication of what before, get rid of the baggage? How do we make the simplest decision possible to move our business forward? And what does that look like over the next couple months?
Yeah, no, that's such a great topic. And on the open meeting speaker call, I mean, Claude hit it hard, Zach. Like, that was phenomenal. And I think you answered the question in the question. What can you do? And you said simplify. And when I think about this, and Monica and I talk about this, I'm always saying, like, this is the time, right? And she commented on, like, you always say that. But it's because I learned early on in this journey with entrepreneurship, you have to learn to clean your slate. And I'll never forget when I entered into this arena, Dean was really hitting hard on, and I'll never forget you, Zach, when I was first tying into open meetings, one of the challenges you knew I was going to struggle with was, and you brought it up almost every open meeting that you spoke at that I attended, and you said somebody in sales, they almost have to unlearn what they've learned their whole life in order to have success in this.
Man, that was pretty intuitive.
Yeah, right? I think it was the part when you said, I know some people when they come in with being a sales background. Oh, man, love it. But no, it's so true. You know, you have to, as an entrepreneur, and no matter what entrepreneur, no matter what business you run or operate, you got to learn to clean your slate. No matter what relationship that you're in, you got to learn to clean your slate. And what's the blessing of what's coming? Like, I've been involved in network marketing since 2006. I've never in the entire history have been more excited than what I am now. And it's because Orrin Woodward, and you hear what genius is. Genius is just taking something complex and making it simple. And that's what Orrin Woodward does best. And what we're entering into for 2018 with you guys on the call, like, I've never seen a business so simple in my life, ever. Like, I literally just, I'll walk you through, and Zach, I know you're going to touch base on this, but I literally used to go out and show this 2.5-hour plan to try to convince somebody to get started in business with me. Like, that's where I began my journey. And we're at the point, literally, this last week, I got on LinkedIn. I played a 7-minute, 13-second video to a lady without any real preference, just saying, hey, I forget exactly what my wordage was, but something along the lines of, I'd like to get your thoughts on our new mission and vision for impact in the world. And they watched the video. She wrote literally a 3-page book. You'll get to meet her. She's getting started with us. She wrote a 3-page book. Almost, it was like she showed the plan to me in her message. And I'm like, she got that from the video? Like, because we didn't have any prior conversation. She knew nothing about what we do but the video. I'm like, she learned all that from the video. This is going to be revolutionary. And better yet, I didn't have to go give a 30-minute sales pitch to her. It was as simple as, I am super excited, basically was what she said. And I said, hey, there's nothing better than that I could do than to connect you with the founder of the organization.
Oh, we're losing you, bud. Still there? Hello.
Thursday night, she tied into Orrin already said connect at the little open meeting. Oh, can you hear me?
We haven't been able to hear you for like the last 20 seconds. Are you there? No? Gotta love technology. You still there? Hello. I think we lost him. We'll come back to him because, man, there were some great nuggets coming out of that. How many guys think it's awesome that you can show somebody something on LinkedIn, a 7-minute video, get them on the Orrin video, get them to an open, and sign them up? That's crazy. And super fired up. I have to tell you guys, just using technology, we were at the open in Raleigh. Was that yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. Do you know one of the guy, actually the guy who's speaking, Ryan Ray, put up an event on Meetup, which is one of the, just an event thing where people can go and see about finance or anything really. You can meet up for sports or education or whatever. And he put this thing on Meetup. 17 people showed up from Meetup that didn't even know who invited them. Like, they came up to the check-in. They're like, I'm like, who invited you? They're like, nobody. We came from Meetup. I'm like, well, after the 3rd or 4th one, I'm like, oh, it's Ryan Ray. But can you guys imagine? Like, it just amazing how people are hungry. They're looking. You know, it's funny, though. You got to go through the numbers because Ryan said 46 people had confirmed that they would be there. So it's just amazing how if you go through those numbers and you put enough irons in the fire, there was, I don't know how many people that didn't know anybody signed up on the spot last night. I had a guy come up to me, hey, how do I get started? And I'm like, well, let me take you to the guy who brought you. He's like, well, I didn't get invited. I'm like, the Meetup guy. And he's like, oh, okay, perfect. And he said, I don't know how many signed up last night. It was crazy. Green boxes going out the window. And it's just, people are looking, guys. Our message is perfect. Our community. I don't know if you guys saw the video that the picture that I sent out today. I think I have it right here, where Oren, I probably won't be able to see it, but there we go. Let's see. Where Oren put the car, it's on your link. It's on your WhatsApp if you haven't seen it. But, the car's the dream, and then you have the one side where you have the message, you got the compensation, you got the products, and then you have the community. And he said, what's funny is we've always been the strongest on the community, and the other three we were lacking in before life. And now, because of PDCA, because of change all over the last couple of years, like those of you who've been with us for a while, you're like, thank you. Thank goodness we're not changing anymore, right? Like, we're just so excited to be with the right messaging. He said, messaging's right. Best of messaging in the world. We've got the compensation right. We've got the products right. And the thing that we don't have the best yet is the community. And it's just because we haven't gone through the numbers because we didn't have the messaging right. And so now that everything's in line, can you guys imagine going out in the next 90 days and showing 90 videos, let's say? And let's say 45 of them you connect to the connector. And let's just say 22 of them get to an event. And let's say only 11 sign up, right? So very, very, very low numbers. How many of you guys had 11 people sign up in the last 90 days in your team? Do you know what I mean? Like, let's get into the process, because there's people like Jeff Darling right now. He put in, I think he said 25 people in 2 different teams in the last month because of this messaging. Just because of the bird dogging on this message. So anyway, Anthony, you there, buddy?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're kind of sideways.
I'm sideways? That's funny. Hold on. Let's try this again. Am I good?
There we go. Perfect.
There we go. It's so cold out. It froze our entire house. So I don't know, what did you guys last year? I was going, and then all of a sudden I hear frozen.
You were going into the experience with the lady on LinkedIn, how she saw the video, she wrote a 3-page book, and that's about where it stopped.
Okay, cool. No, that's perfect. Yeah, so she writes this full-page book just from watching the video, and I think that's the point, is I did not have to explain any details to her whatsoever, right? And she literally showed me the plan after the video. So what it did for me is it made me realize that video is way more powerful than whatever message I could try to communicate to that person. So I love how Claude Hamilton said when he ran, and I might get the details a little wrong here, but basically him and Oren ran Life Coach, right? They got Life Coach, and when they hit it, Oren Woodward's business was 15 times larger than Claude Hamilton's. So think about that. Life Coach. Like, you guys know how big a Life Coach business is. Imagine a Life Coach times 15. Like, that's massive, right? And so Claude really hit the hammer on the head when he said, what did Oren do differently than me? Was he had a simple process. The new people knew exactly what to do. And if you look across your teams right now, I guarantee you, there's some new people that you could reach out to, and they're saying, I'm not showing a plan because it's so complicated. But now, heading into 2018, we have the best of the best approach to really getting a new person off the ground running fast, which means everybody that gets started is now going to get started correctly in a very simple process of show the video, connect them to a connector. And I love how Oren said he's going to grade us as connectors on how good we are as a connector of getting your people or the Bird Dogs people to an open meeting, seminar, or house plan. And I tell you what, with how the process went, I've never other than Chris and Sally Clemens, because Sally just said, how do I get started with what you're doing after reading the book, right? But other than that, Brittany has been the most simple process and duplicatable process I've ever been through. It was, she watched the video, I edified the Thursday Zoom Prezi with Oren, which was just leveraging up, right? She got on, watched the Zoom, and that Zoom call led her to wanting to go to the Tuesday. All I had to put fuel on the fire of Dean Fry's going to be in town, right? He's from Bloomsburg, where you're located for college. Man, if there's one person that could help you have success on entrepreneurship or financial literacy, it's Dean Fry, right? He's going to be in Allentown on Tuesday. And she showed up, and now what is she doing next? She's coming to our house Thursday and looking to go to the event Saturday. I did no work other than playing the video to her and asking her a question of, what impact do you think this message could have in the world? And do you want to link arms and get this message out? Right? Because we have the greatest message in the world. Financial literacy and entrepreneurship. No person could ever look me in the eyes and tell me that this is a bad message. Like, there's nobody that could tell me that. Why? Because I've experienced the worst financial education probably anybody's ever had, and that's why I ended up in hundreds of thousands of dollars, or over $150,000 in student loan debt, just student loan debt, right? And we're on the verge because of this message, and we're not even experts on applying all the principles, but even though we understand the information now, I'm making such better decisions financially that I can't imagine where I'm going to be in 5 years. Like, it's beyond my imagination right now of where, like, the safety net Monica and I are going to build. Even if I just stayed as an employee, how much money I'd make. Like, I can't even fathom. I'm going to surpass even the amount of money I make at ADP right now. Like, I'm going to go in and ask for more money at the end of the year. Why? Because I know my value of that company, because I study entrepreneurship, right? Because I study financial literacy, right? So nobody could ever look me in the eye and say, like, this is a bad message. So knowing that, like, I have all the posture in the world of, I don't care who you are, how much money you've made in the past, this message will resonate with you. And just a prime example, yes, Brittany's going to get started. Her message to me at the end of watching the video, it said this: let's make this video go viral. I'm like, wow. Like, I could have never shown her a plan that she would have said that. But a 7-minute and 13-second video did. Is that crazy? And so tomorrow at 1 o'clock, I'm going to be sitting at my office and my phone's going to ring. It's going to be Wes Chamberlain, who's a former professional baseball player. He watched the video already, and he says, before I tell you my thoughts, I need to have a conversation with you. I'm excited because I know he played in the World Series with the Philadelphia Phillies and won the World Series. Okay, that was back in 1993. And I know he hasn't played professional baseball in over a decade. I guarantee you, when it talked about 78% of NFL players filing bankruptcy, I guarantee you that struck a chord with him as a former MLB player. When I get that phone call tomorrow at 1 o'clock, like, I'm waiting for that message to come out, right? And this is a professional athlete. I dreamt of being one, and now I'm in communication with them because our message is that good. Like, that's amazing. And so you're going to see us. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I am on the verge. Like, me personally, I personally want to get 500 videos out myself. Like, that's how important I feel this message is. And it's so needed. And I tell you what, our bird dog approach, if there's one thing that you can master in 2018 to get yourself on the right track, it's master bird dogs. Master bird dog, connectors will appear. Master bird dogs, and this will be a revolutionary year for you. And I don't know, I'm just super excited. Monica's upstairs, so she would probably talk, but Tessa, I was watching her, and she was crying her eyes out just until Mommy got home. so I don't know, she might be down a little bit.
That's usually how it works. They got some special effects, and parts that help. But anyway, good deal. Well, let's jump over to the Stricklers, because I do want to, first of all, I know Sue has a question for you, Anthony, so stand by. But first of all, I just want to ask you guys, Mike and Sue, probably on this call, you probably had the most experience in network marketing, just the whole industry, being in direct sales and going through the different jerseys and seeing what happened and what didn't happen, and leadership and lack of leadership and all the different things. So I really want to, from you guys, I want to hear what being connected to a Dean and Teresa is like. And really, because you're connected to them more than pretty much anybody else on this call, besides us. I mean, we kind of got that connection, but more than anybody else, and Levi and Lexi, of course. But but what does it mean to be on their team? Because I know we're on that call today and you guys were on there. I know I saw Mike on there just laughing up. I forget who said something about that. Orrin was talking about Dad about being a nice guy, and it was really funny. But I was watching Mike and I thought, you know what? It's so fun to be where we are, because not only are we in the best messaging, the best organization in the world, but we're in the best team in that best organization, in my opinion. And I might be a little biased. That's why I'm going to let Mike and Sue talk about it. But it's just over the years we've seen, I just realized this year I have been in the industry a decade. How crazy is that? But yeah, I just think, how crazy is it that we get to go and live our lives on purpose? And so go ahead, Sue, if you have a question for Anthony to start, and then go ahead and take it away.
Well, hi, everybody. It's great to see so many of you out there all over the world in different states. Hi, Anthony. My question, Anthony, just because I know that you've done various trainings for us before on LinkedIn and how you've built your profile and built your connection with people. With this particular young lady that you're speaking of, did you have a connection that you had already built with her, a little bit of repertoire, or it was merely just like a cold contact bumping into him at the gas station?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So I know there's a couple facets to this where, again, LinkedIn, like when people view your profile, it's all about what branding do you have? And some people, they just connect with you and have conversations because of the brand that you represent. Not the company by any means, but who you are as a person. So you see me posting always thought-provoking articles, right? And that's just ingrained in us at ADP. They give us a platform that shoots that type of information out. But I'm also commenting and liking and sharing other people's that are really thought-provoking. So I think because of that, naturally, I know Ans could probably talk on this if he's on. I can't really touch my screen or do anything, so thanks for unmuting me, Zach. But I know, like, if your branding is right, it's attractive. So I get probably more replies than most people because of the branding of my profile and just how I cast myself out there, right? So that's one thing to consider. So if you're not getting good response rates, that could be one reason. But she was a complete cold contact, never had a conversation with her before. But we have a ton of first-level connections in common, right? Because I connected with a bunch of people in the Bloomsburg area for when we're building there. But I think it was like, I love communication. It's weird to say that because it's one of my biggest weaknesses at times. You can ask Monica. But I've been in sales for so long and understanding the importance of what your words really represent. And ADP trained me heavily on this. So I think it's more the branding that you have out there as one, but also then the communication, the words that you're casting. And so I always try to keep it I've learned, because I've sent so many messages of what kind of responses, how people, how do you want to say this? Certain words, like if you use finances in your message, the odds are they're going to think you're a financial planner and want nothing to do with you because they already have one, right? And so it's just like little things that as you send more messages out, you'll understand how people respond to your message, that you can make adjustments, right? It's just the whole PDCA of communication. But what I've noticed is, and I think Orrin hit this really hard on his call prior, not this one, but a one before that, was lead with curiosity. And if you read my message, that I'm using the same message for pretty much everybody. I might add a couple things to personalize it, but not really. It's just a very curious thing that it makes you almost want to click to see what it is. Does that make sense? So I'm actually putting the video right in the message, because I noticed that when I didn't do that, my responses were way low. And I'm not necessarily using LinkedIn as like my contact list, so to speak. I'm using it as a byproduct as to when I go out and use the regular method. Like, I'm just using it to get numbers, right? And so I'm using the video as a filter to see if they're legitimate or not. Does that make sense? So again, it's your brand and the words you use in your message that you're going to have to play with. But yeah, so she's cold contact. I think that was your question.
Thanks, Anthony. I appreciate that, because I know there's a lot of people that have been studying all the LinkedIn stuff, and some have had success and some have not. But going back to Zach's question about being with Dean and Teresa and what that means to me, to us, I actually I have to tell you that the best thing is the relationship. Is over the years, they have spoken to our lives on many, many occasions, and they have been the breath of life that we needed at that time, And so being part of their community, we know one day as we continue moving forward that we're going to make them proud. And honestly, there's really not anything that we could do to ever repay them for what they've done for us. And so, because they took their time, and I'm looking at all these different faces on the screen here, and we've got relationship with so many of you, some of you pretty intimately, personally, and some of you, are cross-line friends and whatnot. And, when it comes down to it, that the eyes that are looking through this screen right now care about you, and vice versa. We knew that Dean and Teresa cared about us, regardless of business, what jersey we were wearing, etc. And so, I hope that, in your particular situation, I hope that you're buying into this whole vision of, it doesn't matter if you've been around for a while, or if you're just brand new joining the community here recently. This simple messaging that Orrin and the Policy Council has drilled it down to, I'm flat fired up about it, because technology and that classy video is way better than me stumbling over the right words to say. And that 7-minute, 13-second video is the bomb. And just being able to get it in front of people, and, anybody out there on the screen, being a bird dog, making the connection with the connectors so that the connectors can get them to the communities so that your community can grow. And like Zach showed with the picture of the car, the dream drives everything. So if you don't really know what it is that drives you, that be your first homework assignment, like Mike Parr told us last night, And so, having your focus on your dream, but also, not being afraid. I've heard it said that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, Zach already said we're one of the old dogs. We're ready for the new trick. So, I'm seriously flat fired up about this opportunity of 7 minutes, 13 seconds, and how we can leverage, every single one of you that are part of our community, we can leverage the knowledge in this man's head, because Michael is an amazing communicator, and he is an amazing connector, and he does a great job of, getting people to the environment and helping them understand community. And so I'm excited to be able to, put people in our living room tomorrow evening so that we can watch Dan Hawkins. So anybody in driving distance, come on over. We're going to be here. So we're excited about filling up our house, and we want to help more people win in 2018, because there's so many people out here that that we believe in you, whether you believe in yourself. And that's what Dean and Teresa were for Mike and Sue Strickler a long time ago, and over and over and over again. And so here's the man that I believe in the most.
Thanks, babe. Great job, Anthony, by the way, because LinkedIn is one of my goals this year, is to actually, own a computer myself, not borrow Sue's or Jacob's, and actually learn it. So, all these questions, I might not look like I'm paying attention, but it's all going in. So when I actually start this process of LinkedIn, I'm going to hurt a lot of people, including myself, probably the computer. So I'll probably go to the public library a lot and use theirs. That way, if I break one, it's no big deal. It's public library. To answer your question, Zach, because we've been in for a while, like you said, we've been in for a decade or so, I was cocky. I was arrogant. I didn't have any tools in the toolbox when it came to the soft skills side of things. And so right away, but I wasn't ignorant and stupid either, that I knew he was successful, but I really didn't care how successful he was until I knew how much he cared about me, and that he was in it for the long haul, not just for some quick money, and he wasn't going to use me or my family. And so the relationship side of things was huge, to the point where once I noticed he left his guard down, and I say that because his guard is always down, but what I mean was he left his guard down, that he was willing to invest all in to me to become the best version of me, that I left my guard down to build a relationship with him. And so, once I made the decision to build this industry, even with a different jersey, but we were using team approach, I showed my first, presentation in September of 2005. And by August of 2006, I walked away from a 17-year factory job because of this leadership information. But it wasn't so much the leadership information, it was the relationship I had with Dean and Teresa, because everything he recommended wasn't a science side thought process of a skill set. He left the whole system, and the opens and the seminars and the marketing system do a lot of the heavy lifting for him. All he focused on was the relationship with me and the trust. And so, so for Sue and I shouldn't say even for Sue, but for me, I come in with a very humble confidence, almost a swag, if you will, that I know I'm with one of the best couples out there, because he's one of my best friends. Not my mentor, not my coach first. He's one of my best friends first, because see, if he's not your best friend first, he can't coach or mentor you. He can to a certain degree, but he'll never take you over the threshold of breaking the limited belief cycle that's in your head, which is your 6 inches between. And so we've seen a lot of jerseys. We've seen a lot of changes. But the one thing that never changed in all the companies, in all the process, all the methods, all the principles, he never changed his relationship with me. Let that one sink in, ladies and gentlemen. He never changed his relationship with me. And so because of that, I come in with a very humble, confident swag, if you will, no matter where I go, that when someone asks me whose team I'm on, it's very easy. And, I joke with people, I work with the Fry Squared couple, the team Fry Squared, stuff like that, or Zach and Dean, but I never have to think about who I'm working with, because his family is an extension of our family. And so, when there's a wedding, we're there. If there's a funeral, we're there. If there's a birthday party, we're there. If there's grandkids involved, we're there. Sorry, Zach and Flora, but once you have kids, you guys as parents take the back seat to the kids. You have figured that out now, right? Okay, good. So your identity is safe now, okay? And so, I think to answer that question, is if you don't have that type of relationship with the person that you're working with, and here I say this, yes, Dean pursued me a little bit, but I pursued him more to build that relationship. And what I mean by that is, if he was coming through the area, or if he had a night off, he would call and say, hey, bud, you want to grab a cup of coffee, and stuff like that. But in the same token, there was many a times that, I would call him and say, hey, can we grab this? Or, hey, can we grab this? Or, hey, are you swinging by? And so even through the challenge of his dad being, sick, and going through that journey with him, I'm reaching out to him by saying, hey, champ, thinking of you, praying for you, blah, 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 on some of my messages, that way he knows I'm in his corner, being his cheerleader through a challenging time. Is he Superman? No. Does he wear a cape? No. He's Dean Fry. He's better than Superman because of his faith, but also because of the relationship he has with Sue and I and our kids and our family. And so for that reason, if you're not pursuing that and cultivating that relationship, that's what makes it so easy to be a part of his team in that regards. And through the journey of him duplicating and implementing the younger version of a Dean Frey named Zach Frey now.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them have that skill and ability to build relationships and be very transparent. But both Zach and Dean have the vision casting quality, the strength zone that complements my weak zone. So I don't ever try to compare my weak zone of vision casting to their strength zone. I just learn how to harness it, because he said, if you get good at edifying and promoting, you'll walk away from your job. And that's what I did. And so through all the changes, I know it's only a matter of time before we catch the right individuals, the right couple that will lead us to the massive growth that we had back when I walked away from my factory job after 17 years with a different jersey. But the one thing stayed the same, and that was a couple named Dean and Teresa Frey. Now we got a better version. Well, I shouldn't say a better version, a younger version, but better version with technology and understanding.
Better looking version.
Better looking, true, yeah.
Humble confidence.
And with humble confidence too. But that's what it takes, though, because if you're not humbly confident in your dreams, but also with your relationship with your support team, that might be your missing link for success, but also not just running with the top leaders and go-getters and bird dogs in your team, but boy, you better have that relationship with those cookie and cream people in your team too, because together they will help fortify your business to help hit a lot of goals and dreams, but then also put them in a position to hit their goals and dreams, because they know that when their time's up and they're ready to hit some goals and dreams, you'll have their back just like they had yours. So with that, hopefully I answered your question, Zach.
Thanks for allowing us to share.
Thank you for allowing us to share.
Awesome. Great job, guys. And thank you so much for sharing that. I think sometimes, one of my weaknesses is edification of my dad, because I don't want it to feel weird. But at the same time, I'm at the Open last night and I was just talking about him to one of the people there, one of the new people, and they're like, nobody talks like that about their dad. And I'm like, that's a really good point. We got to get into the whole motion of that. And that's why you guys, Mike and Sue, Anthony and Monica, you guys are awesome edifiers, and Lexi and Levi as well. You guys the reason you are where you are is because you're great edifiers. And this whole connector, bird dog, systematizer thing, the new terminology is just a duplication of what we've done. It's a betterment of what we've done, and it's made it simpler and more duplicatable to the point of explosion. These next couple months even are going to be incredible. So anyway, thanks for sharing, guys. I want to have one of our newer members talk a little bit, because I think it's important, just like Anthony was saying, to sometimes clean the slate and just forget all the past and just get rolling with the future. And, there's a girl, young single girl that got started out in California. She's like, oh crap, it's me. Out in California, not too long ago. And she was kind of in our business before, and then she went into the military, and that was way back when it was very different. And so anyway, I'm just really excited because we were on a call, was it 2 nights ago? 2 nights ago, and she was there with a friend in the room, and then Lexi gets a text later, hey, this so-and-so is really interested in what we're doing because of just listening to what you guys were talking about. And I just thought, how cool is that just in conversation about what we do, people get fired up about the future. And so I know Tara's been out there kicking butt, and I think she showed 4, 5, 6, 7 videos. And Tara, the biggest question for you in just a couple minutes to take, what is it that, I guess my biggest question is, there's a whole bunch of people on here that in your situation, that they don't have any close support team. They might not even, you're like hours, like 4 or 5 hours from an event. So what makes it doable to go out there and build this? And I think the biggest thing is the video, but what are some of the things that you find are making it easier for you?
Hi guys, I was not expecting that. Honestly, besides obviously the fact that everything is so much more accessible now, rather than, so Zach didn't elaborate on the fact that I grew up in this. My parents were involved way long time ago, so this has been ingrained in me since I was a child, which is awesome that I'm coming full circle. But I think the fact that it's so much more accessible because of how internet has evolved, how cell phones work now. We could just whip it out and be like, hey, watch this video. This is awesome. This is something that my friends, or not even friends, but I'm still learning the terminology of everything now. It's all changing. But like Zach was saying, I right before the call, after I got off work, I showed it to, I think it was 4 people, the video. And because I live in a barracks, which is like a dorm, it's kind of easy. I was just like, hit my friends up. Hey, can you come over? I have something I have to share with you. It's pretty awesome. It's exciting. And then they're all going to be sitting in on the call tomorrow night, I think, so far. They've all said that they want to. And I have another one. He's over in the, like on the coast of California that I'm going to be calling yet tonight after this. So besides the connectivity of how our world has changed and evolved with communication, I would say, honestly, the same thing that Sue and Mike Strickler were saying was the people, having the relationships. I was never going to share this with anyone, but just the other day I was writing down some dreams of what I want to do and who I want to become. And I've actually personally, grew up with the Frey family. So thankful for that, their impact in my life, and just having Dean Frey as a father figure in my life is one of the most biggest blessings I could ever have. And he was able to support me when I was doing missions work back in the day. And I was just sitting here thinking about it, and I was like, I want to be able to support someone someday. I want to be able to hand someone a check and be like, go chase your dreams. Someone that is completely relying on God to provide and being able to be that tool in God's hand. So I think that's the greatest thing for me is be able to text Lexi or Levi, Zach or Flora or, whoever, whenever, be like, hey, I have this question. I don't know how to say this. How do I say that? What's this new term? Financial literacy? What is this? So just being able to reach out and not feel judged even for asking these questions and trying to understand, because I feel like that's something in the regular world that even I've learned in the Marine Corps, is that when you're trying to learn something, people just assume that you know it, and you don't just know it. You have to learn it, and it's baby steps, and it takes time. And so yeah, I would say the people, and then just connectivity, I guess, how the way.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Taryn. You hit it right on the head. That's what I was going for. The mentorship, the connectivity, the accountability, and the internet. I mean, literally, we have everything virtual. Everything is at our fingertips now. And so something you said at the end there reminded me of something that Claude said, and I can't remember where it is now, but he said something really funny. Oh, he said, as soon as we think we know something, that's when we screw it all up. And it was so good. He said, it's not just about what you do. It's about what you can get other people to do and want to do. And that's what it's talking about in this book too. The greatest way to move people, and the only way really, is to help them want to do it for themselves. And so that's why I sent that quote today on, I think it was today or yesterday on WhatsApp, about how we really, it was the Edge CD. I don't know if you guys heard the Edge CD yet this month. It's amazing. It's about this girl that has this crazy disease. She's like 1 in 32 people in the country that lived past 1. And now she's in the Olympics in skiing on 1 leg and 1 arm. And it's just amazing story. But she was talking about, hey, if you're not passionate about something, if you don't like it yet, you got to learn to like it. You got to figure out how to want to do it. And I just look at that in our industry and think, we all know we want something more, but we got to want the impact we're going to be able to make here. I think that was the biggest switch for me, is when I started getting into my niche, which is international stuff. You guys know I'm probably a little too much into international stuff just because I'd love to have more time for everybody. But when I started figuring that out, it really it was like this. I love what I do. I love it. I don't ever want to stop doing what I do here. And when you can get to that point, finding your niche, whatever it may be, it's going to turn your life around. And it's not about showing another plan or showing another video or connecting another person. It's about getting to do what you want to do. And so anyway, I just encourage you guys with that. But I'm going to pass it over to Flora quick. She's really excited, as you can tell. We're doing 5 different seminars this month. So Flora's like packing up on the CDs and books, and we're doing Spanish and English. And I just got a text from Rob Robson during the call, and he's like, hey, are you doing a seminar in Argentina? I have people to tie in. I'm like, yeah, sure. That wasn't a text from Rob Robson. No, but it's just so cool because when you get to the point where there's this crazy, Flora said it earlier, there's this crazy word that we have in this industry called crossline. And God just put it on my heart to share with you guys. There's this big misunderstanding with what that word means. And it comes from the other jerseys we've worn. And I just want you guys to understand, this is the Atomic Explosion family. There is not crossline in this family. Now, are there lines you shouldn't cross? Absolutely. Mike and Sue are not going to talk to Anthony and Monica about where they're putting their people and how they're going power player and what their business looks like. That's not appropriate. Well, maybe for Sue, you never know. I'm not going to ask Rob Robson how his seventh leg is doing, right? That's not how this works. That's crossing a line. But the word cross line really is out of date. Because what it was is when, and just to give you guys some history, it was when all the different teams had different marketing systems. And somebody from this team would go to somebody from this team and go, hey, can I listen to your marketing system? And so they'd listen to it and they go, ooh, grass is greener on the other side. I want to take my whole team over to this team. And they'd quit the other leader and come to this leader, and they had no restrictions, so they could do it at will whenever they wanted to. And so people would lose teams right and left, and that's why a lot of the biggest leaders in Amway, I guess I'm going to say that's a swear word now, right? But the biggest leaders in Amway got big because they had to get really good at loving on people. Because if you didn't, people would leave your business. Right? They'd go to another team. And so that's why there was no cross line, because, hey, if you cross the line and talk to this person, become their best friend, you're going to listen to their marketing system and think it's greener on the other side and take your whole team over and screw somebody over. That doesn't happen anymore. We all have the same marketing system. We all have the same products. We all have the same leadership. If you want to leave a team, you got to resign, sit out for 6 months. If you want to take your team to the other team, you got to resign, sit out for 2 years. That's not how it works today. So I want to put that out there because I've had so many talks with Oren about this subject, because I keep asking, okay, am I crossing the line when I'm helping Rob Robson's team down in Peru? No, Zach, you're not crossing the line. You're building a community. You're making a difference. You're leaving a legacy. If you talk about the wrong stuff, then that's crossing the line. But I just want you guys to know the whole reason we have rules is because of the people that like to break them. Does that make sense? Like we wouldn't have to have lines down the center of the road if people would drive right? But there's people that don't drive right. And so we got to put those lines, and then they still don't drive right? Like we say you can't have marijuana and people still have marijuana, right? Whatever. There's things that you're not going to have. It's like the whole gun control thing. Oh, don't get me on that. That's so crazy. The stupidness of we're going to put another law. Well, the most laws on guns in the world is in Chicago, which has one of the highest assassination rates in the world. So obviously it's not about rules, but it's about what are your intentions, guys? What are the intentions for 2018? Our Raleigh seminar, our Raleigh Open, is one of the best ones in the country. Why? Because we don't have this whole thing of, I can't talk to them because they're crossline. We're a family where I'm not going to talk to you about your business. That's your business. It's not about me, and it's not about you. It's about, we're a family. We support each other. We're going to build each other up and become the best community in the world. So I hope you guys get that, and I hope you understand how important it is that that doesn't make limiting beliefs happen in your mind. All right. So with Flora, I want you guys to know that the biggest thing that we've resolved to do this year is not be, well, let me just say it this way. Oren said it this way. He said, we can RLA till the end of our days, and if we don't put anything into action, we still won't make a difference in the world. And he said, it's just like you hear, knowledge is not power. Knowledge applied is power. And really, I would go another step. The life knowledge applied is influence. It's impact. And so when you have what we have, you could never, I don't think you could ever go through everything that is on Total Personal Development. I've gone through it. I've tried. Like, they add stuff every month. It's amazing, guys. The financial fitness services, amazing stuff. You couldn't go through everything we have and be done, right? There's stuff every month and marketing system, all these different things. So what I want with us, we are committed this year to being the best actors. I guess that's not the right word. appliers. We're going to be the best appliers of the information we're learning on a daily basis in this team, and not just in this team, for the whole team. Because the million people vision, it's not for one team, it's for the whole team. It's for us to make a difference in society, guys. It's for us to change countries. That's why we're doing what we're doing. Right? Yeah, let's make some money in the process. Yeah, I love making money, but I just spent like $6,000 on flights in the last 2 weeks to go to South America and help people. And you know what? I get such a rush out of going down to South America and spending way more money than I'm ever going to make on, well, at least that I won't make over the next, until the next time I go, right? On the people that are down there. But it's all about what is the impact that we're going to make and what is the legacy we're going to leave. So Flora has really just been, it's been great to have conversations, because we really have, I think, gotten on the same page that we've got to read more than anybody else. We've got to listen more than anybody else. We've got to attend more than anybody else. And we've got to be more than anybody else if we're going to be the leaders that we need to be to move on and go life coach. And you guys know our dream. My burning desire is to have all 4 of my grandparents there. It representing the legacy that we're leaving for them. And it's just this last month, I just got a really quick reality check of, Zach, you better get moving, because they're not going to be here forever. And, it's just amazing how fast time goes by. So I don't have a question for you. I guess the biggest thing is Flora likes questions, but what are your thoughts for this year?
I just like that what he said about this lady that she's from the Olympics, and she cannot move her leg and an arm from one side. I don't know what side, but she really said about you have to make it like it. And when I was introduced in the business and life, I was not interested in anything of this, and I did not like people around me. So I didn't want to be there for a long time. So it was just like a culture shock and everything. But like, it's different being around people and knowing the people that you're around. So I guess my biggest challenge for me is this year is just, intentionally getting to know the people that we are, a family, but actually getting to know new people too. And like Zach said, reading is a big thing. English, I'm still working on it. Guys, it's been 5 years since I've been in the States and I still don't know English. So yeah, it's a big thing. So those groups of leading ladies is just a big encouragement to me. Y'all are a big encouragement to me. And the WhatsApp groups, it's great. I love it. I love you guys. I have learned to love with you in my life. So it is a big blessing from God to have you guys in my life. So yeah, we're going to 2018 all in.
All in, baby. Awesome. Well, I do want to promote this competition, if any of you guys didn't get it yet, and the promotion of everybody has seminars this month somewhere. And that's the cool thing. I can say that now on the Spanish one. We can say it on the English one, because we've got either you have a local seminar you can get to, or you have the Zoom seminar that you can tie into. And I know Mike and Sue are going to be doing the Zoom seminar this month. I'm super excited just to get their story out there. A lot of you guys that are going to tie in are on their team and have never heard them do a seminar because you aren't close. And so it's just kind of cool that we're going to be able to get tickets just like we would get for a regular seminar, but not have to travel 2 hours and pay for gas and not have to, blah, blah, blah. And by the way, let me take that back. If you have a seminar within 3 or 4 hours of you, go to the seminar. But if you're like a Ray and Judith and you're 8 hours or 10 hours away from a seminar, then instead of spending all that money on that and a hotel for the night and all that kind of stuff, all you got to do is get your $35 ticket and you can plug right in from your house, when you're with the different, I know Sam and Irma are out there as well, and we're connecting different people in Colorado and all over the place. So I just wanted to really promote that, guys. That's going to be at 7 o'clock on the 7th. So it's Sunday the 7th at 7 p.m. And that's all of Team Explosion. So I know a bunch of Dad's other teams are tying in as well that don't have seminars, or that have seminars close but have people that because of work or something can't get to that seminar, and so they can tie them in the next day. Just keep in mind that if you are attending 2 seminars, you need 2 different tickets. It's 2 different seminars. It's not the same seminar, so just remember that. But the last thing with this competition, okay, so you got the 3 levels. You got the bird dogger, the connector and the systematizer, and there's points. Okay, so biggest thing is you get 1 point for the basic actions and 5 points for the stellar actions. That's what Oren's been saying. As a bird dog, you get 1 point every time you show the video. Every time you sit with somebody, show them the video. Every time that you get on a Zoom, show them the video. Just sending them out as a broadcast, that doesn't count. You have to actually be with them or have a follow through with them after they've watched the video or something along those lines. It can't just be, hey, I sent 50 videos out. No, it's got to be they've watched the video with you, you know it, blah, 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 that kind of thing. And then you get 5 points for every person that saw the video that you then connect to your connector, which is your Turbo 10 or above, right? So 1 point for every video you watch, and then 5 points for every person that you get connected to the connector. The goals this year shouldn't be about how many videos we get out. That's a non-negotiable. If you're going to grow, you got to show videos. The goal should be how many people from the videos you're showing are you connecting. That's the goal, right? And so then once you get into connector mode, Turbo 10 or above, you're going to do the same 2 things. Obviously, you're still going to be showing personal videos, and you're still going to be connecting them to somebody else or to, Oren's call or whatever. But then everybody that is a connector, you get 1 point every time that you get a connection to a house plan or an open or an Oren call. Okay, so every time that, let's say Ann's is a bird dog, he connects somebody with Anthony, and Anthony's the connector, and his whole goal on that call is to get that person connected to an event. Okay, his whole goal is to get that person around the community. And so if he gets that person to an open or to a house plan or onto the Oren call or the Chris call or whatever, he gets a point. Now, if he gets to that event and or at the open or after the Zoom Prezi or whatever, he gets in contact with that person again and moves them a seminar ticket, he gets 5 points. Okay, so 1 point you get him to an open or a house plan or whatever. 5 points you get him a seminar ticket, which is the whole goal of the connector, get them connected to the community. And then the systematizer is going to do all those things, but they're the ones that connect that person to the Power Player Ready, the financial security net, the financial freedom, what steps they need to take, and all that. So I want to tell you guys my personal view of this and how Oren's been talking. And I just made it simple for you guys, for the people we've already connected about this, but it's a 3-point process, right? Because we've got hundreds of people around the world that want to talk to us all the time. And it's not going to work that way. We got to have a filter because you guys are building the leadership in yourself. You're the filter. And so there is a 3-step process. 1, if somebody saw the video and is interested, you connected them to a connector and they're interested, you get them to an event and they're interested, that's the 3-step process to now get them on a Zoom with us as the systematizers to take them to that next step. Does that make sense? So there's a 3-step filter. You're taking them through that funnel that now by the time they've watched the video, been connected, got to the event, now when I talk to them, it's not about me selling them on the business. They're sold, baby. They're ready to move. And because of how you edify us or edify Adina and Teresa or edify whoever your systematizer is going to be as we get different people building up into Fortified Coordinator roles, then you're going to be able to use their words are going to have a lot more weight, if that makes sense. Okay. And so that's the competition. It's team wide right now. And here's the deal. The 2 leaders, the 2 fortified leaders and above, out of Oren's outside teams, so not his life coach teams, but the Militellos, the Spolers, the Fries, the Johnsons, all the different outside teams, right? The 2 fortified leaders that have the most 30-point people, okay? So 30 points means you got between that 1 point for the obviously the basic action and 5 points for the stellar action. You yourself got 30 points, right? And you could do it. You get 6 people connected, that's 5 points each, that's 30 points. Or you could show 30 videos. But the ideal is to have a balance, right? The ideal as a bird dog, as a professional bird dog, is to have a balance of, I show at least 15 videos and I get as many of them as I can connected to my connector, right? That's the whole point. And so whoever has the most 30-point bird dogs by the end of next month, by the end of February, Oren is going to fly in to wherever we want him to, wherever that fortified leader wants him to, wherever the most growth is, most bird dogs are, 30-point bird dogs are, and he's going to do an open and a Power Player Ready party for us. Oren and Lori are going to do that for us specifically on their private jet. They're just coming in for the top 2 fortified leaders. Okay. And Mike and Sue and Flora and I could be the top 2. I mean, we could take the board, baby. And so here's the thing. My question to you guys to wrap up this call is this. And by the way, another thing is we're going to do a special thing in Albany Friday night after the session. We're going to do a special thing for everybody who's a 30-point bird dog. Okay. And they're going to do one in Tulsa as well. So those of you going to Tulsa, Oren's doing one in Tulsa, and Claude and Chris Brady are doing one up in Albany. So anybody who's a 30-point for this month, we're going to do something special. So get on it absolutely right away. But here's the thing, guys. Here's the question. And Oren asked this today, and it kind of cut through me. But he said, guys, who's ready to pick up the wand? Who's ready to pick up the baton and run? And he said, we've, a lot of the different teams we've gone through this last year, and just like he said, a lot of us have been playing hurt, whether it's through family. I know Mike and Sue went through crazy stuff in the last couple of years, through different stuff. Now mom and dad and us going through stuff and everything, playing hurt. But you know what? That's all the more reason to get out there and impact people that are playing hurt in a job. Right? That are getting out, and we're not all about just getting people out of their job, but can you guys imagine people that have something like what's going on with my grandfather or going on with my mom's with my grandmother every day. And she doesn't need to worry about how long she's there, what she needs to buy for, if she needs to pay for hospital. She doesn't have to worry about it because they went out and they decided a long time ago that they weren't going to sell their life to somebody else. They were going to build so that they could bless. And just like Tara said, how many guys I got so many people requesting money this month because everybody's going into this new year and all these missionaries that we know. And I was just like, this is so cool that I'm able to send money to these people that, a couple of years ago, I'm like, holy crap, I really would love to send money and I just don't have it. I just don't have an extra couple dollars to give. And now I'm just watching, I was looking down through our bank account and I'm looking at these donations and I'm like, dude, this is so awesome, right? Just to be able to bless people's lives. And like Tara said, when they're relying on God to provide so that they can go out and do what he called them to do, you being the one that can support them in that endeavor. So I love you guys. Have an awesome night. I'm so excited for the future, so excited for your future and what you're going to do this year. So make sure you connect. And all of you, I want everybody on here. You all have my number. It's the beauty of WhatsApp. You all have my number. If you're ready to run, if you're going to be a bird dog, I know some of you guys are connectors. If you're going to be the one that goes out and gets 30 points this month and joins us at that party in Albany or Tulsa, please send me a text and tell me so I can help you, keep you accountable, and get you into the mode of connecting and systematizing and getting the best business that you've ever had. So love you guys. Have a great night. We'll talk to you soon. God bless.